the Ferrari revival operation is proving more difficult than expected. The push by Frederic Vasseur, following his arrival at the top of the Ferrari racing department back in January 2023, has borne some fruit, but for now, not as much as expected. There has been a reaction from the Maranello team, such as a better organization of track operations, and a step forward for the SF24 single-seater in the start of the 2024 Formula One Championship. However, the usual hurdle linked to aerodynamic developments during the season, an old weak point for the Ferrari technicians, has once again complicated the team principal's path as the 2024 Formula One season progressed. Ferrari's performance has seen a sharp slowdown in the last 6 races, after Charles Leclerc's splendid but at the same time illusory victory on the streets of Monaco in front of his home fans, and rivals Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren have unfortunately clearly pulled ahead again. There is a feeling that Ferrari is missing another great opportunity now that Max Verstappen's Red Bull has become more vulnerable, while McLaren and the resurgent Mercedes, led by former Ferrari men Andrea, Stella, and James Allison respectively, are able to capitalize on the difficulties encountered by the Austrian side. It is worth pointing out that at this moment, Frederic Vasseur is fighting on multiple fronts. On one side, there was a need to regain competitiveness on the track, and it was hoped that this would start from the race which took place last Sunday at the 7.004-kilometer Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, as the current third place in the Constructors' Championship is clearly not good enough. On the other hand, there are foundations to be laid for the 2025 Formula One campaign, when 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton will arrive in Maranello to replace Carlos Sainz, creating adequate conditions for improved performance. After the summer, specifically on October 1st, Frenchman Loic Serra, a compatriot of Frederic Vasseur, will effectively start working in the Maranello factory. The Ferrari team principal brought Loic Serra from Mercedes with the cooperation of his friend Toto Wolff, securing an important reduction of the originally scheduled gardening leave period. At Mercedes, the French F1 engineer was involved in vehicle dynamics, therefore the interaction between chassis, suspension, and the Pirelli tires, and was one of the key players in the golden era, resulting in 8 Formula One world titles. His arrival will certainly be welcomed by Lewis Hamilton as well. Initially, Loic Serra was expected to take on the role of head of engineering and chassis performance development, coordinating various departments including track engineering, aerodynamic development, and vehicle dynamics. He was supposed to report to technical director and head of the aerodynamics department, Enrico Cardile. However, now that Enrico Cardile has left the Maranello team in order to join Aston Martin in 2025, it is more likely that Loic Serra will effectively replace the Italian engineer, further strengthening his position. It is clear that former Ferrari head of aerodynamics department Enrico Cardile felt he no longer had legitimate status or authority after the official appointment of Loic Serra, making it easier to accept the substantial financial offer from magnate Lawrence Stroll, who apparently doubled his salary at Maranello. For Loic Serra, the adventure at Ferrari will be a significant test, as he has never had such extensive responsibilities before. Frederic Vasseur has full confidence in him, which is a real gamble. The Ferrari team principal has been trying for months to bring legendary car designer Adrian Newey to Maranello, following the announcement of the divorce between the ingenious English engineer and Red Bull. The courtship was intense, with several meetings, discussions, and contract drafts exchanged between the parties, but in the end, the paths of the Wizard and Ferrari diverged. Adrian Newey is reportedly very close to signing with Aston Martin, where Lance Stroll is prepared to offer him a golden bridge, presenting an ambitious project and an offer of $100 million for 4 years. Working at the new Silverstone facility would allow the 65-year-old technical supervisor to remain in his beloved Britain until the end of his Formula One career. The recruitment campaign by Frederic Vasseur, who enjoys the support of President John Elkann, has been remarkable since he took command. The Maranello team has been strengthened with the hiring of about 50 engineers. Many key figures have changed compared to previous years, with the departure of strategist Inaki Rueda, aerodynamicist David Sanchez, sporting director Laurent Mekies, and more recently Xavi Marcos, Charles Leclerc's race engineer, and now technical director Enrico Cardile. It is also worth pointing out that a new A threat could be represented by former Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto, who has just been appointed Chief Operating Officer and Technical Director of Audi's program for entering F1 in 2026, fielding their own team and engine. Mattia Binotto worked for the Italian side for almost 3 decades until he left the team at the end of the 2022 Formula One Championship and could leverage his past role as head of the engine power unit department and his knowledge to poach important technicians from Ferrari. Enrico Gualtieri, the head of the power unit division, is unlikely to move, as we explained in a previous video, but others probably will. Meanwhile, Mattia Binotto will find in his engine staff an Italian he previously encountered at Maranello between 2005 and 2019, Walter Citterio, an engineer from Italy who joined the German side in March as head of development for the 6-cylinder engine that will be the heart of Audi power. He brings with him a wealth of experience and secrets learned at Ferrari. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur, who succeeded Mattia Binotto at the Italian outfit at the end of 2022, insists that the Swiss-Italian has done an excellent job in Maranello. As part of the management shakeup, Audi announced ahead of the Belgian Grand Prix that Andrea Seidl will leave its Formula One project. Departing from McLaren, the German started in his role for Audi in January last year. Andrea Seidl's place will be taken over by former Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto, who will head up its Formula One project as part of a major management shakeup. The Swiss-Italian commenced his work on August 1st. Mattia Binotto left Ferrari at the conclusion of the 2022 F1 season, a Formula One campaign that Ferrari started in a very strong manner, securing 2 race victories in the first 3 races with Charles Leclerc in Bahrain and at the Albert Park circuit in Australia, but in which Ferrari failed to capitalize on its solid pace in the first part of the year due to several power unit technical issues and a series of questionable pit stop strategies that led to a lot of criticism directed towards Mattia Binotto and his team. Former Sauber team boss Fred Vasseur took over his role starting with the following year. When asked about the Mattia Binotto's return to the paddock, the Frenchman chose to remain discreet, stating that he did not wish to comment and preferred to focus on his own team and personnel. He acknowledged the challenges involved in building a Formula One team and expressed that it is difficult everywhere. The French manager praised Mattia Binotto for his excellent work at Ferrari, noting that he was successful and made the team a winner. Despite wishing them all the best, he emphasized that it was not his place to comment on the Italians' potential at Audi. French engineer Laurent Mekies, who moved to Scuderia Ferrari in September 2018 as sporting director, and was later appointed as deputy team principal and racing director of Ferrari, working alongside Mattia Binotto for 5 years, was also asked about this news. He remarked that there was no doubt Mattia possessed all the necessary skills to make things work at Audi, and likely elsewhere as well. Laurent Mekies concluded by expressing his belief that Audi would become an even stronger competitor in the near future.